This camera is seriously the underdog of 2025. This is the Fuji X-E5, and I've had it for over a month now, and I've been using it as my everyday carry. I've been using it for photo walks. I actually recently took it to LA ComicCon, and I'm going to show you through proof of pictures just how good of a camera this is. Now, for settings, all I've done is I've used natural film simulations that are built into the Fuji X-E5, as well as throw on some Reggie Porta, and I just went to town. And I'm going to say you right now, for what this is, I'm surprised that this is not the same hype of the X100VI, because it is such a fun camera that, to be quite honest with you, I preferred shooting with this more than the Nikon Z6III, which I'm filming on right now. Let's talk about it. I'm Joe, this is MatsuXL, and before we get into this video, let me just make sure to put this disclaimer. Fuji did not reach out to me at all. Fuji did not send me this camera. I watched my own reviews, I pre-ordered it the morning of, and I got it in the second wave of releases. So I've had this for about 4 weeks now. So everything that you're hearing is full, unbiased thoughts, opinions, and all my own. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Otherwise, let's talk about this. Specs wise, it has a 40 megapixel sensor. It has a built-in teleconverter that can shoot up to 2x digital cropping. It's a digital teleconverter that can shoot up to 2x, so you're getting roughly like a 26 megapixel shot when you're using a 2x crop. It has built-in film simulations and film recipe capabilities, and it comes with, if you buy the kit, this 23mm 2.8 lens from Fujifilm. And I will say, this is my everyday carry, and I've been using it for 4 weeks. And I was actually more recently available to go to LA Comic-Con. Shout out to the people running LA Comic-Con. You guys were amazing. The event was amazing. We have more videos about that coming up later in the channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But I took this for all 3 days, and I worked with different cosplayers. I walked around the event, and I will say that this is such an underrated beast of a camera. For an everyday carry and for real photo work, like professional, semi-professional work, this is not being talked about enough. And so rather than talk about this camera to death, because you guys want proof in the pudding, let's actually look at some photos I took straight out of camera. Now, I took 3 cameras. I actually took the XM5, which is most of the video that you're watching. I also took my Nikon Z6III, and I took the X-E5. Now, for most of the shots with different cosplayers, I actually stay true to either going with the X-E5 or the Z6III. And I will tell you that in a situation like that, there are a lot of photographers out there, and it can be very daunting when you see multiple different photographers, different flash setups, different professional lighting setups, like full on like C-stands and the whole nine. And you could feel like a small fish, especially if this is like your first or second, or you're just not an experienced shooter. And like myself, very super introverted. I know, I don't seem like it, but I have to say, when I compare what I got out of my Nikon versus what I got out of the Fuji, I'm actually very impressed with just how the Fuji stood on business and was able to capture some amazing footage and pictures in just some basic lenses. So they kind of cover what I used. So for the first day, I actually equipped the Viltrox 25mm 1.7 air lens with the Fuji X-E5. And I also throw on the Short Stash Everyday filter, just so I could get some of that black mist feel and soften the skins a little bit. At the same time, try to reduce some of the polarized reflections on the floor. And I have to say that a small kit, I felt more comfortable going up to different cosplayers and taking a couple pictures, just because I felt it was the different attitude or different mentality of just, hey, can I get a couple quick shots? No flash, all natural light, and just using straight out of camera JPEGs. And I never received more compliments when I was able to just show them like in real time, like, hey, you got, people out here running Sony A7Rs and, RC5 Mark 29s, right? But for me to run around with just a very small kit and get some amazing shots, definitely no pressure at all. Whereas day 2, I took the Nikon Z6III on my 24-70 and I was walking around with flash, and I felt more uncomfortable walking around with that kit just because it was big, it was bulky, and there was just a different feeling, a different vibe. And I know I've said this a lot in my other videos, but when you're shooting on cameras like Fuji, you don't feel that same mentality as you do when you're shooting like a Nikon, a Canon, or a Sony. I don't know what it is. It's just like a feeling. It's a mentality. Because on day 3, I just went straight kit, the 23, and with this, and all I did was use built-in film sims. I actually used a cross film simulation for some black and white, quick portraits like at the end of the convention. And I have to say, this is probably the most fun I've had. No expectations, single shot, not like bursts of shots and to pick the best. I literally just walked around, took a snapshot, and said thanks. And then got their socials and tagged them later. And the amount of people who are like, oh my gosh, those are so good. Like, check out these photos. So, this is not a standard, oh, let's talk about all the specs of the camera, blah, blah, blah. Where are some hangups? Where are some hindrances? Yes and no. Like, I will say that a couple of the things I loved about the camera is the fact that it was small, it was portable, it had the built-in digital teleconverter, so that was really cool too if I wanted to kind of zoom in and try to get some shots, but I couldn't really make compression per se. So that was really nice. And then having the different film sims, really quick, really easy to switch to. Was I afraid because I didn't have a second card slot? I mean, yes and no. I wasn't getting paid, so I didn't have that fear, but I could foresee if I'm doing like a wedding or something, and because I don't have 2 card slots, yeah, I'd be scared I'd lose my images. So that's definitely a factor. But honestly, like, it was just a different, like I said, it was a different feeling. I didn't feel pressure. It made me want to have better glass or like longer range glass so I could get more bokeh, more compression. There is a difference when you're shooting an APS-C sensor versus a full frame sensor. And that's just, there's no way of getting around it unless you use, like I said, bigger glass for further distance that can give you more compression and more bokeh. Because the 2.8 on the APS-C lens, our sensor, is going to be not as blurry or creamy bokeh as you would see on a 2.8 in full frame. So definitely that was probably one of the things I was kind of regretting. But other than that and not having a flash unit, because it would have been cool to see flash. Like the second day at the end, or not the second day, the first day at the end, I ended up using this Amaran 25C, this one I'm like using actually like right here for this video, and I just put that on full blast, aimed my shot, took it, and then just turned the light off just to get a sense of the camera, let the camera just do the work. But I mean, those were more me in my preparedness of it, not necessarily faults of the camera. But other than that, what do you guys think of the photos that I took? What do you guys think of how straight out of camera the things look? Do you want to see more about the technical aspects of the X-E5? Or do you want to actually go on a photo walk with me? Because I do have footage from going on a photo walk with it. But what do you think about the X-E5? What do you think of the photos that I was able to capture out of camera? Am I a decent shooter? Were these horrible? Or do you want to see more about the XE5? Do you want more technical? Do you want more IRL photo walk live in action? Leave it in the comments below. What do you want to see? But if you're going to TwitchCon, I'm taking this with me. So if you have questions about it and you're going to go to TwitchCon in October, leave a message. Tell me where you're going, or tell me what your Twitch handle is, and maybe we could be on an IRL stream together and we could actually talk about the camera. But I'm Joe. This has been MatsuXL. As always, time for me to go shut up and edit. So catch you guys later. Peace.